Kane says our fan base are worse than Levy himself.
Kane says that.
Yeah.
Harry calling us out. Jesus. Our fan base are worse than Levy himself. I don't think that's true. I can't really agree with that. I don't think our fan base are worse. Our fan base are great. We can be. I think we've been driven crazy by Levy, and yes, maybe there are certain elements of our fan base that have become a bit toxic at times, or maybe so desperate for a trophy that it's driven us crazy in down paths that we don't even know what we want sometimes. But I think all the source is Levy, really, for our craziness.
Look, every fan base has all sorts of fans in there. Spurs are not the only ones that have this kind of element in their fan base. Every single fan base in the world has it. So if you're going to call Spurs fans worse than Levy, that means that every fan base in the world is probably worse than Levy. Yeah, everyone is culpable for it. We just notice it more because we are in it, and we are the Spurs fans. And, you know, we live day by them, talking to them every day, following the noise on social media and everything like that. So,
do you not feel like maybe we're more polarised than some other fan bases?
It depends what's going on at the football club at the time. Like, Arsenal fans are just as bad, if not worse, at bad times.
I'm not talking about Arsenal. I'm just saying other fan bases.
Like who?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. They're protesting against their owners like a year or two after coming in.
True. United. You reckon we're more polarised?
United are going. They're having shit fits every single week. What are you talking about?
Villa.
I mean, Villa have got nothing really to complain about right now. So what have they got to complain about?
They win Champions League. They dropped out.
Yeah, but they're going through their best moment in their history, pretty much, since when they used to win Champions Leagues.
What about? Yeah, I guess good point.
So I mean, every fan base has their moments, and
are we in our moment?
We've been in our moment for a long time. We've been in our moment for a long time, and ultimately, it all stems from what happens on the football pitch, and it's been not good enough for Spurs for so long. So until that gets better, then the fan base will quickly jump on board.
And you know, even in this, you know, we've been kind of struggling as a fan base for a long time, but you know, we were great during the Europa League run. Even the past 5 years since Poch, where it's been so, you know, very up and down, mostly down. Those 6 months under Conte, I remember, everyone was together. It was such a great time to be a Tottenham fan, those 6 months under Conte.
First 6 months under Ange.
First 6 months under Ange as well. So, yeah, I agree. It's just a reaction to what happens on the pitch. It's true.
When we're good, we're the best in the world.
Exactly.
I so firmly believe that. When the Spurs fans are on it, we are the best fans in the world. And even last season, when things were going terrible and we'd go to away grounds and, you know, get served up dross sometimes or maybe even win, you know, fans in the away end would be loud and proud and atmosphere would be absolutely banging. So I think Spurs fans have to put up with so much, and they give so much back in positive and negative. What is the next one is from Mr. Tottenham saying, Oasis make garbage music.
Oh, come on.
You make garbage tweets, mate. You make garbage tweets.
Absolutely shocking. You're talking to the wrong people, mate. You're talking to the absolute wrong people, the wrong crowd.
If anyone's got a spare ticket for Oasis, by the way, in London,
oh yeah, please
hit us up.
There's how many people watching? 1,300. Someone's got to have a spare. Surely.
Yeah.
Someone will. Come on.
If anyone's got any spares to any of the London gigs, hit us up, people.
DM us. We'll give you a free shirt.
We'll give you 10 free shirts.
10 free shirts.
Darren says, I'll take Darwin Núñez at Spurs.
Darwin?
Not for me.
No?
Nah.
10 million?
I like the attributes that he has, but, I mean, he's going to be worse for us than bloody Soldado with the amount that he misses.
How old is he? He is 26. Oh, wow, he's a lot older than I thought. I thought it was like 24.
Darwin has been a complete flop.
He would be another Werner.
He reminds me so much of Soldado. Tries so hard. You can't, like, his attitude is infectious, and you can't help but love him. And the Liverpool fans are like that. You can't help but love him. But when he gets in front of goal, he just shits the bed.
Yeah, it's so weird, like, because in Portugal, the guy scored, 30 goals. He seemed like a bit of a killer.
And how many goals in Spain did Soldado score?
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I think Nunes had better physical attributes than Soldado.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm sick of trying to fix broken players at other clubs. We always try to do it and it doesn't seem to work.
Yeah.
So I've been burnt by the Werner situation. I really thought maybe we can get something out of him, and he was just probably even worse at us than he was at the other club. So no thank you to Darwin. I wouldn't take him.
Aaron says, Ollie Skip is better than Archie Gray. I haven't seen anything Gray has done Skip can't do. Well, can he play it right back? Can he play it centre back?
Skip played left back.
Yeah, once, yeah.
Yeah, he was quite good.
Yeah, it was a decent game to be
Well,
fair.
if you cast your mind back to when Skip was Gray's age, he was very highly thought of. He was
True.
a future captain. And when he broke into the team under Nuno for a few games, he was great.
Yeah. What's gone wrong with Ollie Skip? Because he's gone to Leicester and he can barely get a game even there.
Is it just those injuries that have ruined him?
I don't know, man, because I thought Skip was going to be one of, be at Spurs for a long time, and be starting week in, week out when he was first breaking through.
But he broke through and then he had this very weird injury, didn't he? He was literally. Do you remember we had like this? Like they said, like every week, oh, he'll be back next week. He'll be back next week, and that went on for like a year.
Yeah.
It was very odd. Like there was no like big injury. I remember hearing him talk about it, saying like they thought initially it was something small, and then they just couldn't get rid of it for like a whole year. For the whole it turned into something very big, and he did surgery. Then he needed like another surgery, and it snowballed into like this massive deal. And so maybe I feel like he's never really gotten over that, unfortunately. And that happened in 2022, so it's now 2025, and he's never been the same, unfortunately. In terms of talent as a youngster, there was a lot to be excited about with Ollie Skip. And I remember Mourinho saying he was a future captain, and I remember when he was playing at that age, and he was quite impressive.
I would say, though, that different attributes, though. I feel like Archie Gray, his ability on the ball right now is better than what we ever saw from Skip.
Yeah, I think Skip was always kind of a quote-unquote mature player on the ball, which means like basically get the ball and play it safe a lot of the time and not lose possession. Whereas I feel like Gray, when he's at his best, is a lot more adventurous. He'll drive with the ball a lot more and take people on and go for the space if he sees it, and much more got the confidence to try things. Or he did anyway at the beginning of the season before he kind of went into himself a bit near the end. So I think when you're talking just purely when they're at the same age, there's maybe a debate to be had. Right now, Skip's just gone the other way, unfortunately. I wouldn't say Skip right now is better than Gray.
Yeah.
But maybe he's a youngster. I don't know. I think
When he had that season at Norwich,
phenomenal.
when he got best player of the championship.
He was better than Leeds. Gray was at Leeds. Then.
Yeah. Well, it says it all. Like he got player of the year in the championship, didn't he?
Or player of the year for Norwich, I think.
Was it just Norwich?
Yeah. Maybe did he get in team of the season? I can't remember.
Pretty sure, because Norwich came up that year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think he got their player of the year, I think. He was playing every game in midfield consistently.
Yeah. William Johnson says, I would rather have Brennan Johnson in our squad than Brian and Buemo. So would I.
William?
Mate. So would
Yeah,
I.
100%. 100%.
Who wants Brian and Buemo?
Yeah, he's rubbish. Brendan Johnson, our top goal scorer, man.
Johnson again, ole ole. Who wouldn't want Brendan Johnson over
Exactly.
Brian and Buemo, man?
Spot on comment.
Next up is Eric Morfoot says, Ben will not flip-flop on Frank by Christmas. I think that is very
unpopular. Very unpopular. It's guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, Frank's going to be top of the league by Christmas, so there'll be no reason for me to flip-flop.
How bad would it have to be before you start to waver? Before you start to get shaky?
20th?
20th.
Yeah.
What, 20th at Christmas? Or
Yeah.
20th?
At Christmas.
What, 17th at Christmas, you're not wavering?
17th at Christmas, so it's all to play for, mate. It's all to play for.
Got you.
Dave Sepson says, this season is going to be worse than last year, and the club supporter divide will be the largest it's ever been.
Wow, that's quite a prediction.
So it's going to be worse. So what? He's saying that we're going to finish lower than 17th?
That's what he's saying. It's going to be worse than last year. Or maybe he's 17th without a trophy.
I think if we do finish lower than 17th and we get relegated, I actually think the club support divide will be the largest it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
But the supporter, I think, like the divide within the supporters will probably be the closest, because I think like everyone will just be on board and everyone will just be trying to get Levy out.
If would you take getting relegated to get Levy out?
I think I would have last season. But I don't know, man. I don't know. We just need to get Levy out. Why does it need to be like having to go down to the next league to get him out? Just get him out.
It's like the Four Lions way. Bomb the boss to radicalise the moderates.
Oh, God.
Classic Four Lions.
Aaron says Spurs should be going for Marcus Rashford at left wing over Eze. I think for pure profile, they're probably right, but I think Eze is just so much better than him right now. He can play left wing, he can be versatile, and obviously his most favourite position is in the 10, so I'd much prefer Eze over Rashford.
Yeah, I know Rashford was pretty good at Villa, and I was quite impressed with him, but I wouldn't prefer him to Eze. I think Eze is also, at this level, still got that hunger about him to prove himself at this new level, whereas Rashford still has this kind of attitude like he's the best and like you're lucky to have me, I feel. Albeit the way it's kind of finished with him at United, and he did have a bit of that hunger at Villa, but coming to Tottenham on a long-term deal, I don't know about that.
Ryan says Højbjerg will be a stalwart in Frank's setup. Very good passing range from deep areas, tenacious in the tackle, and can at times provide a goal threat. Was a mistake to let him go. He may not be super technical, but think this will be offset with a Bergvall as a midfield partner. And we were actually speaking about this the other day, weren't we, Højbjerg?
I think Højbjerg would cook under Frank.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
do.
I think Højbjerg would be very good under Frank.
Like if we were talking about Norgard, I'm saying Højbjerg is better than Norgard. I think he's got more to his game. And I think in that double pivot role, Højbjerg would have done a lot better under Frank than maybe other managers.
You know, we were all dying for the obligation when we set him out on loan to Marseille. And if it was just the option, then maybe we would have kept him.
Could have. And I bet Frank knows him very well. Yeah. Danish brothers. But not going to happen, unfortunately.
Naeem under Spurs says, hold on, keep hold of Valise. No target man's going to look good playing park the bus with Espanyol. He'll be much better for Tottenham. Nah, I think he needs to go play consistently somewhere else. It looks like he's about to go back to Argentina. And I think it's probably the best option, to be honest.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sorry, Valise, but there's just nothing we can say at the moment to trust that you are really going to hit the ground, be breaking to the first team next season. Nothing we can cling on to right now.
And this is the last one. Mr. Wonder, lads, it's Tottenham, says that we don't actually have wonder kids, star boys, or whatever you want to call them. We just overhype average kids. Sarr, Gray, Lancashire, Moore, etc. Scarlett.
Scarlett comes after the etc. Why is that?
He was just so angry, right? He wrote etc. Then he thought of Scarlett, and he was like,
I definitely think we have a tendency of overhyping every wonder kid that we have. 100% agree with that. I don't think they're all average though, but I think we genuinely do right now have a bit of a golden generation, and the talented kids we have right now, or the teenagers, are very much more talented than the ones we've had in the past. If you look at Bergvall, we're not overhyping him. He's absolute class. I think Sarr is class. I think Gray. Look, Gray. I think Gray's got potential, but obviously needs to improve. I think Moore is class. So I don't think we're overhyping them. But sorry, I do think we have a bit of a golden generation. But I also think we do kind of sometimes put too much pressure on them when they're kind of developing or they're showing potential. Then we're like, oh, get him in, play him straight away, all these different things. And I do think we kind of expect a bit too much too soon sometimes from a lot of these youngsters, where you got to remember they are still developing and they are still kind of growing. They're not the finished article anywhere near. Sometimes they're not quite ready for consistent game time, and you got to bed them in. And I think sometimes fans are too desperate to want to chuck them in. So I agree with that, but I don't think I think specifically right now, I do think we have a bit of a golden generation of talent. I do. I don't think it's just hype.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I very much believe in the talents of people like Mikey Moore, Jamie Donnelly, Josh Keeley, even ones that we've brought in as well in Odebear, Tell. I mean, Odebear's a funny one because I feel like we should loan out Odebear next season. Just to bring in kind of someone that can do it here and now. I just think Odebear's still a bit of a slow burner. And with the injuries that he's had last season, not being able to get consistent minutes, and with us being in the Champions League this year, I feel Odebear might be best suited to getting a Premier League loan and playing week in, week out. But I still think the talent's there. The talent is there, and we've got some of the biggest talent in Europe. right at this moment in time. So I don't think it's overhyped. I think we've actually got, unbelievable talent here. There's been a couple more that have just been coming in. Son can blossom under Frank. He's still better than people think. Also, Spence is our best fullback. So I disagree with Spence being our best fullback. I think it was proven towards the back end of last season how good Porro and Udogie actually are. And I think people forgot actually how good Udogie it can be. And I think he proved that. But look, that doesn't discredit Spence, because I think Spence is also, in his own right, a very good fullback. I just think we're very lucky to have 3 top quality fullbacks.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Spence is our best, but he's good. He is really good. He's strong, he's fast, and he's good defensively. Doesn't get caught out too many times in one-on-one.
He's probably best one defensively.
Yeah, I think there's a good shout to say he's the best one defensively. But I think as an overall package, I still think Udogie and Pyro offer more in that front. Son can blossom under Frank. I think he can too. It's just whether he's going to stay here or not. But yeah, I do think he can blossom. I think Frank can really get the best out of him.
Daniel Pomerantz says Sissoko was a fraud of a player. He would only ever play well when it was close to a transfer window where his contract was close to renewal. I mean, I can't remember when his contract was up for renewal or stuff like that, but I mean, he started off horribly, then he just suddenly clicked and he was awesome for us.
I don't think Sissoko had a choice of when he played well. I don't think he was that good of a player, you know what I mean? Like, I think he went for a really good period when we were in that run to the Champions League final. I remember he was good. I think that was a season after where he went for a run. He was scoring a few goals under Mourinho. He was quite good. But I think by the time he was leaving, we were all ready for him to go. He was kind of on his last legs. He wasn't
and it was old by then as well.
He was quite old. But I think he had about a spell, I would say about 18 months, where he was actually pretty consistently good.
Yeah, I have a lot of time for Musa because he had to battle through a lot at Spurs. All the fans were against him, saying he's rubbish, he's this, he's that. And then suddenly it just clicked and he became like a fan favourite.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever a £30 million player, if we're being honest. No. But I think he proven he wasn't completely useless.
Trick_Doom says, we won in spite of Ange, not because of Ange.
No, we won because of Ange, Trick. Ange got us over the line. If you watch that final speech, you can't then turn around and tell me it was in spite of him. I'm sorry. The guy motivated that team. They played for him. I think as well in the lead up in the whole Europa League campaign, it wasn't in spite of him. I think we played some really good stuff, and I think tactically we got it spot on in each round. I just disagree completely.
Nomad says, forget Brian and Buemo. We should go all in for Kevin Sade.
I like Sade. Yeah, I don't know about that either, but I like him. I don't think he's better than Buemo. It's classic Tottenham to go for the lesser of the two players. But yeah, I don't think Sade is much better than what we have. I think he's good, and he did score 11 goals last season, but I think what we have could easily do that.
I think Tell can be better next season than what Sade was last season. Frank Era says Matisse Tell would explode next season and score 15 plus goals in all competitions. I think my prediction for Tell next year is over 15 goal contributions.
Yeah, I agree. I
think 15 goals might be a bit too much.
I think at least 10 goals. I reckon 10 goals. Yeah, 10 goals, 5 assists. That sounds about right.
I reckon a bit more even than that. I reckon about like 7-8 goals, 7-8 assists, something like that.
In all comps?
No, in the Prem.
Oh, in the Prem. He's saying all comps.
Oh, all comps. In all comps, then he's going to cook even more.
20 goal contributions?
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
People still sending them in.
This guy says no Spurs academy player will make an impact like Kane did for the next 10 years at least. I think for the next like 50 years probably.
Yeah,
probably next 100 years.
Probably ever. Yeah, I doubt we're going to see anyone make it. This AJ says he would have sacked Ange before the Europa League final. Oh, long before the Europa League final.
Yeah, me as well, mate.
And you would have made a mistake.
Me as well, mate.
You would have made a mistake, and you wouldn't have the Europa League
trophy.
trophy.
You would have as well.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
No, I would never have sacked him.
You would have sacked him straight after that Chelsea game.
Nah, never.
Yeah, you
I would
said
have considered it.
You said Ange out.
Yeah, for a week.
Yeah, so if you had your choice at that moment in time, you would have sacked him.
Yeah, but I backed him all the way, mate.
Huh?
I wouldn't have sacked.
But you said Ange out, so after that Chelsea game, after he cupped his ear, you literally would have sacked him.
But I went back to Ange very quickly.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is you would have sacked him at that point.
For a specific period of time, yeah.
So you didn't back him all the way through.
For a little bit of waiver. I'm allowed to be annoyed from him cupping the ear.
All right, so I think that is it for unpopular opinions.